weddings, assassins, and trauma. We're going to talk about all that and more on today's reaction and review of Marriage Toxin, Episode 7. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mark, and today, as I said, we're talking about Marriage Toxin, Episode 7. Before we go into the review, make sure you check out the Patreon down below for the reaction, and then you can come back here and enjoy the review after seeing my reaction. It'll be in the Patreon down below and in the pinned comment. And also make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hype the video, do all that good jazz. And you also get your shout out if you join the Patreon. So, you get a lot out of it. And this episode was really good. It was a roller coaster, bro. And of course, as always, I took like a page and a half of notes. So I'm excited to talk about this. So with that said, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your notebooks, and let's talk about the episode. So this episode, as I said, was really good. We start out with Gero and Kinosaki getting invites to the Bugmaster, whose name is Toshiki, his wedding, which I'm happy for him. Everyone's happy for him. Even Kinosaki got invited because everyone knows, or at least some people know, about what he's doing for Gero, which is cool that he's appreciated, because I appreciate Kinosaki, but it's nice that everyone else appreciates him as well. And so that's cool. And we also learn that the Bugmaster is a longtime colleague and friend of Gero, and it's not it's clearly they are friends, which is nice to see that Gero does have friends, people that he can confidently call a friend, which is nice. And I'm gonna be excited to talk about more about that dynamic later on in the review, but we're not there yet. We're still at the beginning. And so, but yeah, Kinosaki got invited by him because he wants to thank Kinosaki in person. Also, he wrote his notes, the invitations and all that, on the wings of a butterfly, and I think that's dope. I think it's dope as long as the ink is non-toxic to the butterflies. Otherwise, that's animal cruelty. But as long as he cares about stuff like that, and it's non-toxic, I'm happy for him, and I think it's really cool. But then, moving right on to the actual wedding, we get to see Gero die, or appear to die at least, by a dude who threw a bunch of needles at him. And it turns out that guy is Tsunagi, the Needle Master. He has a really cool design, and he's also a really good friend of Gero, just like the Bugmaster is. And he gave the needles that he threw were basically acupuncture, like a pick-me-up, because he's using up his body and all that for when he goes into his poison mode or whatever it's called. So yeah, we also learn that he has 3 kids, and he got paid by Gero, and so he's gonna take them all to some kind of amusement park or something. Which, I mean, hey, fair enough. He seems like a good dad, and Kinosaki agrees, because he also said that too. And then finally, we move on to the entrance of the Bugmaster with his fiance, soon-to-be wife, and it was a really cool entrance. He came in with giant butterfly wings. It was a really cool entrance from them, so that was cool to see. And we also got to see a little bit of Gero and the Bugmaster's backstory, because they met when, and this is because Gero was reminiscing over how happy he is for his friend, but they met when Gero was a teen, and the Bugmaster, he's an adult at that point. And because he was invited over to talk, to have a drink with a non-alcoholic drink with the Bugmaster, but Gero is standoffish because he thinks he's only inviting him because he wants to get an in with his family, because the family dynamics are insane there. And again, we're going to talk about that later. But the Bugmaster's nah, I just wanted to have a drink with you, man. Non-alcoholic, of course, because you're underage, but he just wanted to have a drink with him, which that was nice. That was sweet. The Bugmaster, the overarching theme of this episode is just telling us and showing us how nice of a guy the Bugmaster genuinely is at times. But moving on, some guy, we also get to see some guy be like, yo, I'm gonna ruin this happiness and kill everyone, including the Bugmaster. But unfortunately for him, Ghetto notices him and is like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. But he doesn't do it right away. Like, they go through their motions and stuff for now, for like the reception and all that, until finally a pink spider lands on Ghetto's shoulder and he immediately jumps up and starts running. And like the spider's name is Julia Jr. And I'll be honest, kind of cute, kind of adorable in anime form. Real life would not be adorable. Immediately, I could say with complete confidence, would not be adorable. But in the anime, adorable. And Gero somehow can like understand what the bugs are saying, because he's like, yo, you also want to protect the wedding and keep it from being unmarred. And so like they're working together with the bugs and all that, and that's cool. And so moving on, the attacker who's attacking this place, he hires some random goons from the like dark web or whatever, and Gero took them out in an instant. And he laments the fact that he hired them. He shouldn't have used them from the dark nav, man. And honestly, like you shouldn't rely on hired help like that. You gotta vet them before you make a move like that, if I'm being honest here. Well, he attacks Ghetto with the Firestorm Labyrinth, which he uses a bunch of mortars. And in the reaction, you can see my face being like I was actually shocked at all the mortars flying through the sky. And so, with that happens, and we get to learn this guy's backstory for some strange reason. And he was just a nobody. He was depressed. He didn't care about anything, care about life, nothing. He was just straight up depressed. But one day, to pay back debts, he was turned into a hitman by the Puppet Master, who I suspect is probably going to be one of our enemies in the future. And he probably is going to be a really dangerous opponent compared to the others so far. And he basically was like, yo, I'm going to make you a bomb, and you're going to blow yourself up if you have to. And so the guy is now happy. He's an adrenaline junkie, I think. I think that's what it is with him. And so with that, I wrote down that depression sucks, because it does. And the Puppet Master also told him that trash exists only to die with grace. And that's... damn. That's basically like the mentality of like the strong prevail over the weak. And that mentality is flawed. Greatly flawed. But anyways. Moving on. We get to see the Bugmaster be like... this is the reason the attacker has a grudge with the Bugmaster. It's because, get this, the Bugmaster didn't want him to be afraid of death anymore. Because like he like disarmed the bombs that were in the guy. Because there was a bomb like in his mouth and stuff too, like in his head. And the Bugmaster gave him a hug and disarmed it. He smiled and was like, you don't have to be afraid of dying anymore. And this just goes to show how the Bugmaster, despite being in the industry that he is, he's such a good guy. He's just a nice dude who deserves to be happy, honestly. And because he didn't want the hitman to live in fear of death, which is really cool. And then moving on from that, Kinosaki had to give the speech. And I don't know if Kinosaki wrote the speech, came up with it in the moment, or if this is the speech that Gero had. But it was a really nice, beautiful speech that Kinosaki pulled off really well on behalf of Gero. And it was a really nice speech, because it really honed in on how good of a guy the Bugmaster is, and how he like helped Gero. And like it's just really sweet, man. So moving on, the assassin guy, he's struggling a lot, and finally he's losing. But then the Puppet Master, through like an earpiece or whatever, is like, yo, I'm gonna release your limiters. And like, fair enough, I guess. And so the guy plans to just blow everything up. And like, I mean, fair enough. That's one way he wants. If that's how he wants to go out, fair enough. But he sees how happy the hitman, not hitman, the Bugmaster is, and the Bugmaster really was happy, smiling there. And but then also he smiled back when he helped out the guy, made him not fear death anymore. And he smiled, and then the hitman is like, "Yo, you know what? I'll leave you with this." And then he just gave them fireworks. I guess you could say the wedding ended with a blast, with a bang. And that was pretty cool at the end there, the way the hitman was just like, "Yo, fine, whatever." That was just, it was a really good moment, man. And then moving on from that, we get to learn more about the power dynamic. This is where I'm really interested, because Kinosaki and the Bugmaster are talking now, and the Bugmaster is like, despite the dynamics between our families, I'm glad Gero showed up, called me a friend, and showed up to my wedding. And that's when that's what I wrote down, was that the power dynamic between their families did not stop Gero from calling Toshiki a friend, which, that's awesome, man. I'm happy. And so now time for some backstory. We learn that the Bugmaster's family is basically descended from Gero's family. And I also wrote down hierarchy is annoying and confusing. But then finally, Kinosaki asks more questions about this dynamic. And so now we get actual information about the 5 great families. We don't get much information, but we get some. We get their names. The Gero family, the Arima family, the Dogo family, the Kirishima family, and the Natsuka family. And according to the Bugmaster, the whole society of masters is made up of their branches and offshoots of the 5 great families, which, that's wild, man. And we also learn that unaffiliated families do occasionally appear. Now, this tells me that in the future we're going to meet an unaffiliated family, if we haven't already. And the reason I say that is because that's specific information that they didn't have to give. They did not have to tell us that. We could have went the whole series, without knowing that, and it wouldn't change a thing. But now that we know it, that tells me we're going to meet an unaffiliated family at some point, or a person from an unaffiliated family, which is cool. We also learned that with how strict this hierarchy is, how serious it is, that the branch families would end their lives if the great family ordered it. And that is like, that's dark. And the great families are brutal. And we see a more backstory, of course, about how they first met with Gero. We see the Bugmaster, and I think this is his dad. It could be his dad or his older brother. I'm not sure, honestly. But they're both very scared of the Gero family because they're descended from that family, and like one word and they could all die. But and so they're like scared the whole time they meet him, and they learn that Gero, he's like a teenager at this point, and he was just made the heir. But the Bugmaster doesn't feel fear from him. He feels more just like Gero is different from the others. And he is. He's like, kind of like, as he put it, just a regular guy. And that is true at the end of the day. He is just a regular guy. But where Gero really stands out is when the dad or the brother or the Bugmaster is like, yo, you can order this guy to like die like a bug or whatever, like an insect that he is, and stuff like that. But before, and the guy even begs for it. But before anything can happen, Gero's just like, nah, he's not a bug. And that is true. The Bugmaster, he's not a bug. He's a dude, just like Gero. And the Bugmaster calls Gero a real stand-up guy, which, yeah, he is. And I also wrote down, I hope the Bugmaster stays happy. I'm going to be very sad if something happens to the Bugmaster or his wife. And if something does happen, I want us to organize like a defense force to go get revenge. Because like, I love the Bugmaster. He's just a nice guy, man. I'm not a bug person, really. I don't like bugs. But I like the Bugmaster. So, fair enough. Hold on one sec. And so finally, we get to meet a new guy who killed a guy. And this new guy, I swear, I paused on his, like, when we saw him. And I was like, I don't know where, but I swear I've seen this almost exact design somewhere. And I have. Different hair color, but the face, I swear to God, I've seen it before. With the mannerism as well. And a guy, he apparently just goes around and kills masters. And he has a lady who sends him names. I'm wondering who she is. I'm wondering why he's just killing masters. But he called the guy that he just killed normal, which I don't know if that's good or not. That sounds potentially like a problem. Like I'm just so curious. I have questions now about this. I want to know more about the other families and stuff too. Like, that's backstory that I need. I need more lore and backstory. And so, yeah. I will say, of course, any episode with Kinosaki in it, the femboy, is peak episode. Even if this wasn't already a peak episode, Kinosaki makes it peak. I'm gonna be honest here. But with that said, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Let me know if what you thought of what I had to say. And of course, you can check out the Patreon down below for the reaction over there. Just become a paid member, and you get access to all my reactions and the occasional exclusives that I sometimes post. And it helps me out a lot, and literally allows me to continue doing what I'm doing right now. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, ding the notification bell, hype the video in the YouTube mobile app. And, yeah, I have nothing else to say. So, with that said, until next time, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself. Stay safe out there, and I will see all you incredible people in the next video.